From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Nwawodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, 9 persons killed in fresh attacks in Oboju community in Agatu local government area of Benue State, just as 3 days after the killing of 15 persons in the same local government area. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu orders Inspector General of Police to ensure that all the perpetrators involved in the killing of Ekiti monarchs and abduction of pupils and their teachers are apprehended. An FCT High Court adjourns trial of former Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, on alleged 109 billion naira corruption charge to March 20th, 2024.
And on business news tonight, Nigeria's Purchasing Managers Index rises for the second consecutive month in January to 54.5 from 52.7 in December.
On sports news tonight, Super Eagles of Nigeria set for Friday's AFCON quarter-final clash against Angola, as players say they are determined to create history in Cote d'Ivoire.
From Abuja, Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun orders deployment of policemen to 26 states across the Federation, where rerun and by-elections will hold on Saturday.
And in international news from London, all 27 EU leaders have agreed a €50 billion aid package for Ukraine after Hungary had previously blocked the deal.
Three days after the killing of 15 persons in Agatu local government area of Benue State, 9 persons have been killed in a Oboju community in the same local government areas in a series of affected herdsmen. A former deputy chairman of Agatu local government area, Mr. John Ekwuluno, told our correspondent that 9 bodies were recovered after the attack. However, the Benue State government and the police authority are yet to comment on this attack, which has persisted in the area in the last 2 weeks. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to ensure that all the perpetrators involved in the Ekiti State security breach are apprehended and made to face the full wrath of the law. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, says the President's directive was conveyed during the visit of the Governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, and the Senate Majority Leader, Opeyemi Bamidele, to Inspector General of Police at the Force headquarters today. According to him, the IGP has expressed the commitment of the force to address the challenges, ensuring the perpetrators are brought to book and the kidnapped pupils and their teachers rescued unhurt. As the IGP has ordered the deployment of police helicopter, armored personnel carriers, IRT and STS operatives, and police mobile force personnel to augment the power already deployed to Ekiti for the special operation. And 13 suspects have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping of the 5 pupils of Apostolic Faith Group of Schools in Ekiti and 4 staff members. That's according to the Force Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, while speaking on our political program Politics Today. Mr. Adejobi explains that the preliminary investigation has now shown that they were abducted by armed men and all efforts are on to rescue all of them unhurt.
By reassuring the people of Ekiti State that the kidnapped pupils of those schools and their teachers will be rescued unhurt and be reconciled or united with their families. So our deployment is going to comprise PMF men from neighboring states, the squadrons in neighboring states from Mondo, that's Mopo 17, and some of them from Moshun, Mopo 39, all of them will be deployed. The directive is clear already. They are going to move immediately to Ekiti State. And IG has given directives to this in charge of, that is IRT, Intelligent Response Team, DC Mohammed Sanusi, to move his men to that place tomorrow. Some of his men will join our area support too, to give them area support in Ekiti. We wouldn't want to jump to any conclusion or preempt what the investigation will say, whether they are social people or not social people. But now we have 13 suspects arrested so far in connection with that incident, and we are working with them. They're actually giving us reliable and useful information, which we are working on. I'm sure the IGP has directed the CP to have a comprehensive report in that regard. As I speak with you, they went to the bush again today. I'm sure by now, if they are back, they must have even picked some of these criminally minded elements who are causing problems in that area. The CP has been mandated to do thorough press briefing about this and to give us a report adequately. I don't want to preempt what the report from the command will say, but as I speak with you, we have 13 suspects arrested so far, and we are sure we're going to get more of these elements so that we can bring them to book.
Meanwhile, the Ekiti State Police Command is giving assurance of the rescue of the abducted pupils and staff of the Apostolic Faith Montessori School in Ekiti, as operatives have been deployed to ensure their release. Families of the abducted persons have confirmed that there have been contacts with the abductors, and they are now demanding ransom of 10 million naira for each abductee. The 5 pupils and 4 staff of the school were kidnapped on Monday while returning to Ekiti at the close of school.
Showing shock and anguish in the aftermath of kidnapping of pupils and staff of the Apostolic Faith Montessori School in Ekiti. An eyewitness said the 5 pupils and 4 staff abducted were carefully selected by the kidnappers out of the over 20 people on the bus.
It remained like 2 camps that we passed to reach Ekporo. We just hear a gunshot 3 times. And our driver come down. He thinks that it's our vehicle that is giving sand. As he come down, they creep him. They come out from the bush, they creep him, they slap him. They open the door, they point gun at our car that anybody that try nonsense, that they will kill him. They say we should come out, they say we should lie down, nobody should look up. At anybody that look up, they will kill the person. And they take us from the express and take us to the side of the express. They started pointing the people that they want to carry. They started pointing people they want to carry. They point one girl at Okiowo, and these 2 brothers and sisters drag him that nowhere they are taking their sister to. That anywhere they are taking their sister to, that they will follow them. That's how that happened.
For the residents, this crime is a regular occurrence around the community.
Last year, June, the same kidnappers, they attacked people that are harvesting melon on 3rd June. I still know the date of head. They go to the farm where they are harvesting their watermelon in the same direction where they did the operation on Monday. So when they couldn't get the owner of the farm, they fire one Hausa man, they are flat.
Families of the abducted persons and representative of the school bemoan the activities of gunmen in the area and appeal to government to ensure the provision of adequate security for all.
A whole day, there was no contact until the second day, towards evening time, they started to make contact. They were demanding ransom. The first person to be contacted is one of the husband of one of the staff. They asked him to bring 10 million. And the man was asking because he has a little girl that was always taken along with the mother. He was asking, what about my child? He told him that the daughter is with them, and he too should raise 10 million for a person.
These residents and family members of the kidnapped victims would be counting on the police for the rescue of their loved ones as the operatives work to fulfill their promise.
The Southern Kaduna Christian Elders Association has expressed concern over the protracted insecurity challenges in the region that has affected socio-economic activities, with a call on the federal government to find a lasting solution to the lingering insecurity and also assist victims of banditry and terrorism in these ravaged communities. The group is also calling on communities in that region to break away from the past memory of strife and crisis and seek friendship and ways of rebuilding their land together. at the annual prayer summit organized by the Southern Kaduna Christian Leaders Forum in Kafanchan in Jema local government area. The convener of the event, Apostle Emmanuel Kure, and other leaders lamented that thousands of lives and property have been lost and the lingering insecurity in the region.
This prayer summit, organized by the Southern Kaduna Christian Leadership Forum, led by Apostle Emmanuel Kure in Kafanchan, is an annual event meant to seek the face of God for the restoration of peace in a region bedeviled by protracted insecurity. Prominent indigenes of Southern Kaduna present at this gathering include a former military governor of Rivers State, General Zamani Lekwot, religious leaders, serving and former state and National Assembly members, as well as traditional rulers from the region. The prayer summit, which has the theme Arise and Move Forward, features songs, ministrations and prayers for Southern Kaduna, the state and the nation at large.
We have sadly witnessed how our beautiful landscape is dotted with mass graves. However, it is time to move forward and rebuild.
The event also provides a platform to discuss issues affecting the region and the way forward.
We are children of God. God has made it possible to be God-fearing people. And nobody will ever change who we are.
We have decided to work together. We have bills that we have sponsored together. One of such is a bill to establish Federal Medical Center in Southern Kaduna.
For the convener of the prayer summit, Apostle Emmanuel Kure, and other speakers, they tasked the federal government to do more in stopping the incessant bloodshed of innocent citizens by bandits and terrorists.
The world is tired of it. Our people are tired of it. It's no longer beneficial to anybody. So I will call all the elders of all the lands to join hands together and break the curse.
We also know that Southern Kaduna is a place that has suffered a lot of brutality in Nigeria, and therefore every right-thinking Nigeria will have a thought towards Southern Kaduna.
The Kaduna State Governor, Senator Uba Sani, who is represented at the summit by the administrator of Kafanchan Municipal Authority, Mrs. Phoebe Yayi, believes that to achieve peace and security in Southern Kaduna, dialogue and genuine commitment is key.
He appreciates the people of Southern Kaduna, the leadership of the Christian Association. He appreciates the entire people of the state for living at peace with one another. He also called on them to continue to pray for the leadership and for those in authority. He also called on them to be their brothers' keepers, because without peace, there will be no development.
For many years, Southern Kaduna has been plagued by incessant attacks by bandits and terrorists, resulting in the loss of hundreds of lives and displacement of many people from their communities.
In part two, after the break, FCT High Court adjourns trial of former Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, on alleged 109 billion naira corruption charge to March 20th, 2024. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. 9 persons killed in fresh attacks in the Bojo community in Agatu local government area of Benue State, just 3 days after the killing of 15 persons in the same local government area. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu orders Inspector General of Police to ensure that all the perpetrators involved in the killing of Ekiti monarchs and abduction of pupils and their teachers are apprehended. And the FCT High Court adjourns trial of former Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, on alleged 109 billion naira corruption charge to March 20th, 2024. And all 27 European Union leaders agree a 50 billion euro aid package for Ukraine after Hungary had previously blocked the same deal. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says that Nigerians must continue to preach love and peace if the country must be united. Senator Akpabio was speaking as the chairman of the occasion for the 80th birthday celebration of His Eminence John Cardinal Onayekon in Abuja. He asked Nigerians to reflect on the issues that bind the nation together rather than amplify divisive rhetoric, which will only spread hate and plunge the country into conflict. Other dignitaries at that event include the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, also appealing to Nigerians to shun tribal and religious bigotry which can lead to insecurity in the country. Our correspondent Dele Omoyeni reports.
It's the 80th birthday celebration and book launch of the Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja, His Eminence John Cardinal Onayekon. Dignitaries from all walks of life, including the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Mr. Peter Obi, amongst many others, graced the occasion. The Senate President, Mr. Akpabio, has a message for all Nigerians.
To unite people from all walks of life, even though sometimes, for those of us who are politicians, when he starts speaking, we hold our breath. His words have the power to heal, to bridge divides, and to ignite the flames of hope in even the darkest of times. His sermons have touched the hearts of millions, reminding us of our shared humanity and the inherent dignity that resides within each and every one of us.
While giving the toast for the occasion, General Gowon lists the virtues of the celebrant and urges Nigerians to emulate him.
Has inspired all, and his unwavering pursuit of unity and dialogue among different religious communities is testimony to his deep understanding of the values that binds us as human beings.
The celebrant then cuts his cake. Overwhelmed by the show of support, the celebrant vows to continue preaching peace and unity.
I went with a group of 7 young people, priests and people, and after Pope had greeted them and took photographs, they all went out, and I was left alone with Francis in his library. Just to tell him how grateful I am that the Church of God has been very good to me, and he himself too has been good to me, and to reassure him that we love him in Nigeria and in Africa, that we thank him for all the time he makes reference to our country when we're in trouble, to assure us of his prayer and his concern.
The second session of the celebration is the presentation of a book in his honor. The Senate President unveils the book, which is a compendium of his thoughts.
In Jesus' name.
Dignitaries speak on the contributions of the Cardinal to the society.
He stands for peace, he stands for justice, he stands for human development. So he's a great servant of humanity, and of God. And by the special grace of God, when he is done, when his time here is done, we pray that he gets canonized.
We are here to celebrate a man of peace, a man of ideas, a man who has contributed in no small measure to the cooperation of all major religions. And it's coming at a time when we're experiencing religious extremism in some part of the country, whether in the northern part of the country or in the southern part of the country.
John Cardinal was ordained as a priest in 1969 at the age of 25 and became the youngest auxiliary bishop of Ilorin at the age of 38. He resigned as the Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja in 2019. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
I wish the Cardinal many more healthy years. The trial of Ahmed Idris, a former Accountant General of the Federation, an alleged 109 billion naira corruption charge at the Federal Capital Territory High Court, has now been adjourned to March 20th, 2024, following the completion of the cross-examination of the first prosecution witness. Mr. Idris is being tried alongside 3 others by the EFCC for alleged diversion of the said 109 billion naira. During the proceedings, the witness admitted that the former Accountant General did not have a lawyer with him when his statements were taken during investigation by the anti-graft agency. But the trial judge, Yusuf Halilu, admitted as evidence a video tendered by the counsel to the EFCC, Rotimi Jacobs. The said video is an interview session of Mr. Idris and 2 other accused persons, a recording done with the use of a smartphone without their knowledge.
They called their witness and then brought this video recording, which at the end of the day, you saw that the questions showed that video recording, its relevance is very doubtful. So we'll continue and we'll see how it pans out.
We have more on the news at 10, but we head to Abuja studios now, where Malkwe Ogun Yusuf is standing by to give us more. Hello, Malkwe. It's good to see you again.
Hello, Anne. Always a pleasure here. Well, electoral matters top our lineup as it's less than 48 hours to the rerun and by-elections taking place in 26 states across the country on Saturday. In view of this, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, and other forms of transportation from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Election Day in the affected state. Addressing a news conference here in Abuja, the Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Olumuyiwa Adejobi, says those on essential services are exempted from the order.
We are giving this warning on time so that those states that are not affected or they are not involved in the process will be able to plan their movements on time. If you know the neighboring state is affected, you should be able to plan your movement because definitely they will not allow any movement into the states where elections are being conducted. So the message is going out on time. Today is Thursday. They have two days to plan ahead because it's going to be on Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. There is no how because what courts across 26 states of the Federation may affect, invariably is affecting the whole nation. That is the truth. Because most of these states affected definitely border some of the states that are not even concerned in at all, or not involved in the process. So it's as if that the whole nation is involved because there's no how this restriction of movement will not affect some states that are not involved in this process at all. So those states that are not involved in the electoral process should know that there will be restriction of movement in 26 states, which of course may invariably affect their movement.
Now, one of the states where elections will be taking place is Plateau, where there is tension in Jos, the state capital, following the exclusion of the People's Democratic Party on the ballot papers for the rerun elections for the Plateau North senatorial seat and Bassa Jos North federal constituency. The National Commissioner supervising the state, Mr. Mohammed Haruna, clarified that the Independent National Electoral Commission took the decision in line with the appeal court order, which excluded the PDP from participating in the exercise.
In readiness for the rerun elections for the Plateau North senatorial seat and Bassa Jos North federal constituency in Plateau State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, commenced the distribution of sensitive and non-sensitive materials. The INEC National Commissioner supervising Plateau, Kaduna, Nasarawa and the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Mohammed Haruna, is leading the team that is supervising the distribution exercise. The distribution was done in the presence of representatives of political parties, observers, journalists, and security personnel. The exercise begins to go south as the representative of the People's Democratic Party discovers that his party's logo is missing from the ballot papers. Security operatives bring the situation under control, and the National Commissioner offers explanation for the omission.
The PDP went to a court in Abuja, and the Federal High Court declined jurisdiction. So what that means is that the ruling by the Court of Appeal subsists. And we have to obey the court. There is nothing, our hands are tied. It's whatever the court says, whether it is right or wrong, that is what we will, unless it is set aside.
The court said all parties to participate in the rerun elections. So we understand that one of us is not on the ballot paper. We therefore sat down as Inter-Party Advisory Council, all the political party chairmen on the plateau. We agreed that an injury to one is an injury to all. Therefore, if PDP is not participating, no political party is going to participate in the forthcoming elections on Saturday.
The Plateau State Police Command is assuring of providing adequate security for the exercise.
The police will ensure that it is free and it is fair, and we also protect the lives and property of all our citizens on the plateau.
INEC is also promising that Saturday's exercise will be held without any hitch in the state.
Well, staying with electoral matters, it was a homecoming of sorts for the Ebonyi South senatorial candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Anthony Ani, today at the party's campaign grand finale rally in Onitsha, local government area of the state. Professor Ani made a pledge to deliver the dividends of democracy to the zone if elected. The state governor, Francis Winfuru, who was present at the rally, lifted Professor Ani's hand, expressing optimism of his victory at the poll on Saturday.
A large gathering of All Progressives Congress supporters are in Egunkwo, Onitsha local government area of Ebonyi State, for the party's rally ahead of Saturday's election for the Ebonyi South senatorial seat. Leaders of the party in the state take turns to highlight the significance of the event before the state APC chairman, Stanley Okoro-Emera, hands over the symbol of the party to the candidate, Professor Anthony Ani. Thereafter, Governor Francis Winfuru takes to the stage to deliver his speech, but not before he displays his dancing skills.
Prof is one of the best and is the best candidate among other candidates of other political parties. He has no enemy. He's like water. He's somebody that all of you know very well here. He's not a new person. He has been able to distinguish himself in his area of profession. And we are very happy with him. And that is why our party deemed it necessary to come to Onitsha and pick the best to represent us in this zone.
He then hands over the party's flag to the candidate, who expresses gratitude to the people for their support, promising not to disappoint them if elected as their senator.
While staying with electoral matters, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, has appealed to residents of Surulere to come out en masse and cast their votes for the candidate of the All Progressives Congress by-election in Surulere. Honorable Gbajabiamila was speaking during the campaign rally, says it is in the interest of the people to vote for continuity in order to enjoy more infrastructure development across the Surulere area of the state.
Supporters of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos turn out in their numbers in Surulere area of the state to drum support for their candidate, Fuad Laguda, who has been selected as the party's flag bearer for Surulere constituency election, which seeks to replace the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, who has been appointed as the Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu. The rally kicked off from the Teslim Balogun Stadium to Shita Roundabout and Adeniro Ogunsoya, with party bigwigs seeking support for their candidates.
I want to appeal to my people, to my family, generally in Surulere Constituency 1, to come out in mass to vote for the right candidate.
I know I'm the right candidate, and I'm going to be the one that will represent Surulere. Please come out on Saturday and vote en masse for APC and vote for Fuad Kayode Laguda. You won't find my name on the ballot, you'll find APC. So please vote for APC on Saturday, 3rd of February.
Even the Western Avenue Highway was disrupted by the campaign, causing traffic congestion. The Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, and the state APC chairman who were part of the campaign trail asked the people to cast their vote for the ruling party.
We're here to make sure assurances are double sure. We're not leaving any stone unturned. We're not taking anything for granted. Politics anywhere in the world is unpredictable, but I know and I believe that the people of Surulere, they've always stood by me. They will stand by Fuad, and they will deliver on Saturday.
My advice is for them to turn out in large number, to go out early enough to make sure that they cast their vote for APC, so that goodies they have been enjoying since the tenure of Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, Honorable Kayode, Fuad will continue to do a similar thing for the good people of Surulere for that person.
Last-minute preparation is on top gear by all political parties, but the people of Surulere will decide who takes the vacant seat of the House of Representatives come February the 3rd.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's Purchasing Managers Index rises for the second consecutive month in January to 54.5 from 52.7 in December 2023. That's some business news. You join us again. Welcome back. An aspirant for the governorship ticket of the Labour Party in the Edo 2024 election and former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olumide Akpata, says previous administrations in the state have not carried out people-centered policies that will benefit the people. Mr. Akpata, who purchased his expression of interest and nomination forms from the National Secretariat of his party in Abuja, assured the people of Edo State that governance will go back to the grassroots, as it will ensure the full autonomy of local government, which is the closest tier to the people.
Education is not only in Benin City. Edo State is 18 local governments. And I can speak to the issue because in the last couple of months, I've gone around the state twice, by road, not by air. And I've been able to reach out to the people to see what they are suffering. Did you see that video from the primary school in Ewato, where children were lying on their tummies to take notes? That is dehumanizing, to say the least. I have not heard the Edo State government speak to the issue. It's a scandal, downright scandal. So you can be sure that, I mean, I can speak to many issues here today, but I don't think we have the time. So let me say, at the heart, at the kernel of whatever it is that we shall be doing, if God is kind enough to give us leadership in Edo State, is that the people will remain there at the center. Once that is your driving force, once that is what propels you, you will come up with policies and programs that will benefit the people. And you know the all-pervasive effect of agriculture. from the point of view of providing employment, from the point of view of feeding the people, from the point of view of the building the economy of the individual farmer, I don't think we have done enough to build that sector in our state. So you can be sure that the Edo State government, under my leadership, in the event that I become the Labour Party candidate and I eventually win the election, will focus on agriculture.
Right here in the FCT, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has flagged up the emergency rehabilitation of 9 kilometers Paikon-Kore-Ibwa Road in Gwagwalada Area Council here in Abuja. Mr. Wike explains that the idea behind the emergency rehabilitation of the road is to fight insecurity in the area as well as bridge the infrastructure gap between the rural and urban communities.
This is the flag-off of the emergency rehabilitation of the 9-kilometer Paikon-Kore-Ibwa Road in Gwagwalada Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. The minister arrives for the ceremony amidst cheers from residents. Aside from housing the FCT Grazing Reserve, residents of the area are mostly farmers, and this project is expected to open up the farming communities.
Constructing this road from Paikon-Kore to Ibwa, I know you have reduced the problems of insecurities and also boost the economy of these areas. Most of the people staying here are farmers. 90% of them are really farmers. And they find it difficult to bring their farm products to the town when the product is supposed to be in the town.
In line with the Renewing Hope agenda of Mr. President and the FCT administration to embark on emergency construction of 30-kilometer roads in 6 area councils of FCT.
Security is at the core of the project as the FCT administration assures residents of more road rehabilitation to bridge the infrastructure gap between rural and urban areas.
Development must not only be in the city. One reason why most people migrate from the rural area to the urban area is because of lack of facilities. When you are giving them good roads, for how many minutes they are in the city? So why would they leave their homes? I assured you before that we are going to take this fight against security head-on. Today, you can see that we are not letting them go.
Today, we take a significant step forward addressing these challenges. And this 5-kilometer road may seem like a modest undertaking, but it is impact which will be far-reaching.
The minister then officially flagged off the rehabilitation of the road. The FCT minister is hoping the project will be completed before May the 29th to mark President Bola Tinubu's first year in office.
And that's all from our Abuja studios. It's back now to you, Anne.
Thanks a lot, Maokwe. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, has been giving assurances that the problems facing the pharmaceutical industry in Nigeria are already being handled. Professor Pate was speaking at a stakeholders meeting on the invitation of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, PSN, right here in Lagos. The group engaged him on the state of the pharmaceutical industry in the country and the way forward for the good of the institution and the nation.
Rarely has one seen so many groups of pharmacists in one room. Manufacturers, importers, researchers, and educators gathered to engage the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
Officer of the Federal Government.
A former Minister of Health and Chairman of Julie Pharmacy stresses the importance of pharmacists to health delivery.
You can do all the restructuring of buildings, make them look good, fill them with equipment. If there are no medicines there, it ain't going to work.
The Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria president urges cooperation to end fake and substandard product peddling, while his counterpart in the industry elaborates on the challenges and needs of the body of pharmacists.
To make sure that we can curb and monitor fake and counterfeit drugs, and working closely with the ministry and with the security agents so that open drug market will be totally eradicated.
The recent scarcity of drugs and the attendant high cost of drugs underscore the need for government and all stakeholders to pay critical attention to the pharmaceutical industry and the entire value chain. We recommend that instead of allowing this tariff regime, which ranges from 5% to 25% in some cases, that these specialized equipments be accorded zero duty.
Join me as I welcome Dr. Muhammad Ali Pati to the lectern as he gives us his speech for tonight. Let the applause go louder, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome, sir.
In his remarks, the minister assures the body that some problems are already being tackled.
We have included a mechanism for the first time for pooled procurement of pharmaceuticals, for critical pharmaceuticals. And there's a plan to actually visit with customs to see how things could be made easier in terms of the clearance.
He points out that some challenges must be tackled with a multi-sectoral approach. The Pharmaceutical Society and Minister expressed their eagerness for another engagement by March to take stock of progress and plan further conquests in the interests of the health sector.
Well, I think it's good news for business activities. A picked up pace in the month of January. Let's hear the details from Will Ibong.
Thank you, Anne, and welcome to Business News. You're right, business picked up momentum in January for the second consecutive month, marking a significant acceleration in output and new orders, and this according to the latest Purchasing Managers Index report by Stanbic IBTC Bank. The data showed that the Purchasing Managers Index, as the PMI, rose to 54.5 in January from 52.7 recorded in December. New business saw a sharp increase, reaching the highest level since April 2022, while business activity rose at the fastest pace in 21 months across all sectors. Now, despite optimism about future output increases, sentiment remained relatively muted. Employment, while increasing, faced challenges as some firms struggled with staff payment, contributing to a rise in backlogs of work. At the same time, inflation rates remained elevated in January but showed signs of easing. Purchase prices rose at the softest pace in 8 months, while currency weakness and higher costs for fuel and raw materials kept inflation elevated. Staff costs increased at a steady rate, with firms supporting workers facing higher living costs, especially related to transportation. Output charge inflation remained elevated but eased to an 8-month low in early 2024. The Stanbic IBTC PMI report shows that companies remain optimistic that output will increase over the year ahead. Now, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has announced the purchase of additional rolling stocks for the Blue and Red Line rail operations from China. Now, the governor, who made this known during a meeting with the China Civil Engineering Construction Company in Beijing, according to him, this is aimed at improving the quality of life for citizens and reducing traffic congestion in Lagos. He says the new rolling stocks are expected to arrive before the end of the year, adding that his administration is committed to commissioning the Red Line and completing the second phase of the Blue Line.
We can have a rail system that will not have any incident of traffic or any interaction with the vehicles or with passengers, and we can wall off and ensure that it's a very, very safe, rail corridor. Because my fear is that there's a lot of, interactions, on the Red Line. So we need to be assured that, we operate, a rail corridor that is very, very safe from passengers, from citizens, and from vehicular movement.
Now let's bring you some company news. Listed Tier 2 bank Fidelity Bank PLC has released its full-year unaudited financial statements for 2023. According to the report sent to the NGX, the bank posted a profit before tax of 122.15 billion naira, representing a 128% growth from the 53.68 billion naira recorded in 2022. Further highlights shows the bank posted gross earnings of 552.77 billion naira, marking a 64% growth in contrast to 337.05 billion naira posted in the full year 2022. At the same time, the bank's net interest income of 274.86 billion naira posted in 2023 was significantly higher by 82%, while earnings per share rose by an impressive 96% to 3 naira 16 kobo. Now, the domestic equities market made a rebound in today's trading session as positive sentiments returned. Laddie Williams has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Let's look at the numbers from today. Now, see the all-share index back in the green, 1.63%, 102,000 points for the all-share index. Market cap sitting at 56 trillion naira. Let's look at the trading activity today. We're seeing it's more subdued than we had in the previous trading session. 861 million units of stocks valued at 12.15 billion naira. And we see deals lower there, 12,851. The sectoral performance, someone's back at this time. That's the banking counter, 7.82%. We're seeing some cherry picking in that counter. It's been sell pressure for the past couple of days now. Industrial goods also back in the green, 4.37%. Oil and gas back to marginal winning way, 0.02%. So we're seeing the banking counter now, 7.82%, with some of the fugas, most of the fugas and tier 2 banks all adding to their share prices today. So we're seeing investors back interested in the banking counter. So I guess the question is the sell pressure over? Is it time for the banking counter to get back to winning ways? Well, we're watching out for that. So February just started. Be interesting to see how the all-share index plays out for the rest of February. That's the Stock Market Report. The bulls have it.
Thank you, Laddie. The bulls definitely have it. Now let's check out how other major equities performed at the close of trade. That's a wrap on business news. It's back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Will. United States President Joe Biden has approved sanctions on 4 Israeli settlers accused of attacking Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Mr. Biden signed the executive order saying the violence in the West Bank had reached intolerable levels. The sanctions are expected to prevent these individuals from accessing all American properties, assets, and financial system. Well, here's Simon Puse with other international news in and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. All 27 EU leaders have agreed a €50 billion aid package for Ukraine after Hungary had previously blocked the deal. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the new funding, saying it would strengthen the country's economic and financial stability. Ukraine's economic ministry said it expects the first tranche of funds in March. There had been fears Hungary's Prime Minister would again block the package as he did at the European Summit in December. Viktor Orban, Russian President Vladimir Putin's closest ally within the EU, had said he wanted to force a rethink on the bloc's policy towards Ukraine and questioned the idea of committing funds for Kyiv for the next 4 years. Ukrainian forces say they have destroyed a Russian missile boat from the Black Sea Fleet in a special operation off Russian-occupied Crimea. The Ivanovets, a small warship, received direct hits to the hull overnight, after which it sank, military intelligence said. It has released video footage that purports to show the moment of impact, followed by a big explosion. There has been no word about the incident from Russian authorities. Donald Trump's attempt to bring a case in the UK against a former MI6 officer who compiled a salacious dossier linking him to Russia has failed.
And one of the remarkable things about this situation now...
The former president had been seeking to use data protection laws to sue the company run by Christopher Steele, but the High Court has thrown out the case. Mr. Steele compiled the dossier, which contained unproven allegations about bribing officials and sex parties. In bringing the lawsuit, he said the dossier contained allegations that were inaccurate and breached his data protection rights. In Thursday's ruling in London, the judge found Mr. Trump's claim had not been brought within the 6-year limitation period. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has apologized to families who say their children have been harmed by social media during a fiery hearing in the United States Senate.
Would you like to do so now? Well, they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered. And this is why we invest so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
Mr. Zuckerberg, who runs Instagram and Facebook, turned to them and said no one should go through what they had. He and the bosses of TikTok, Snapchat, X and Discord were questioned for almost 4 hours by senators. Lawmakers wanted to know what they are doing to protect children online. The hearing was a rare opportunity for the US senators to question tech bosses. European farmers have blockaded roads and burned tyres as EU leaders converged for a summit in the Belgian capital. Protesters threw eggs and lit fires during the demonstrations, which are the latest in weeks of protests around the bloc against costly regulation and cheaper imports. Earlier this week, the EU announced some temporary measures in an attempt to lower tensions, which have been building around Europe for the past month. Australian police came to the rescue of a 3-year-old boy who was stuck inside a Hello Kitty toys claw machine in Brisbane.
He goes for that back corner. Yep. Bigger tablet, but this one here, yeah.
The boy, Ethan Hopper, had earlier climbed through the machine's prize dispenser at the Kapalaba shopping centre. The child was unfazed when Queensland police and his father, Timothy Hopper, told him to cover his eyes and go to one corner inside the machine as they shattered a glass panel and then carried him out safely.
There you go.
And one of the world's best ever racing drivers, Lewis Hamilton, is poised for a shock move to one of the world's most iconic brands, Ferrari, for the 2025 season. A number of senior sources say a deal between the 7-time champion and Ferrari has been agreed. The 39-year-old signed a new 2-year deal with Mercedes for 2024 and 2025 last summer, but it seems he can leave after just one season should he choose. There have been intermittent rumours of Hamilton moving to Ferrari for many years. Ferrari and Mercedes have refused to comment. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon. In the world of sports, Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro says the team's attention is fully on the match against Angola in the quarter-final of the Africa Cup of Nations on Friday. In an exclusive interview with Channels TV via Zoom, the coach says they will not be complacent as every team that got to this stage have the quality and should not be underrated.
Don't allow many opportunity for the opponent. And in the attack, you try to do what in our mind, in our model, our characteristics. Since we start my job here in the Super Eagles, you try development one model, one game that my players feel comfortable. My players like to do. Only you can improve something if the players believe and they feel comfortable in our system, our structure. Only put a little more consistency in the defensive process, and because in the attack, I think our team is good players, good skills, good capacity.
Well, Coach Joseph Pesero is not the only one talking. Midfielder Alex Iwobi also believes the team can achieve great things if they remain focused. The Fulham playmaker says they are in Cote d'Ivoire to create history.
The main thing is that we remain focused, we look at our own games, we analyse our own performances, and we want to do what's best for us. We don't like to look at the outside noise. I think what's made us strong together is not just the performances, but the whole staff, everyone that's not even playing. It's like one big family, and that's what's given us the strength to get to where we are. So if we continue to do so, I'm sure that we can achieve greatness and create history.
Meanwhile, Senegalese official Issa Sai will be the referee in that quarter-final clash between Nigeria and Angola in Abidjan. Sai will have compatriots Djibril Kamara and Nuha Bangora as assistant referee 1 and assistant referee 2, alongside Mauritanian official Abdelaziz Bo as fourth official. Now, the Nigeria Premier League Football League says it has postponed the start of the second phase of the season to February 14th. The resumption date was initially fixed for February 4th. The NPFL says the decision follows public demand influenced by ongoing African Cup of Nations, which is ongoing in Abidjan. And that's Sports News Tonight. I'm Kelly Egiga. It's back to Anne for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. 9 persons have been killed in fresh attacks on Obojo community in Agatu local government area of Benue State, just 3 days after the killing of 15 persons in the same local government area. Also today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed the Inspector General of Police to arrest the perpetrators of the killing of traditional rulers in Ekiti State, as well as those behind the kidnap of 5 pupils and their teachers. And we also told you that the Federal Territory High Court adjourned the trial of former Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, on alleged 109 billion naira corruption charge to March the 20th, 2024. And all 27 European Union leaders have agreed a 50 billion euro aid package for Ukraine after Hungary had previously blocked the deal. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Wawadu. Good night.